desktop is okay. I have everything on. No, here desktop audio is also recording. Okay, everything is recording. Okay, so you got the idea to build your own device?
Well, I guess Marius. No.
Marius.
Sorry, Marius. Okay, I'm very sorry. Not only me, but I think Marius as well.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. I have opened a Google Docs document and shared the link with you, and
yes,
we can go to it and.
Right. It's on the chat. Yes.
Yeah, on the chat. So you can enter and you can use your favorite color to add some notes.
I don't see it. Is it in the private message?
It's in the general chat. General chat.
All
yes.
good. All good. All good. Mm-hmm.
So you can both type simultaneously and just write your ideas. So the first thought is this your first device? Yeah, I already heard that it's not your first one. If you include the Ether one, so it's for sure not your first. But the Ether one is digital, so digital doesn't count here because we want.
It's actually, yeah.
We want.
It's very interesting because.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You can talk.
It's very interesting. It's quite a coincidence that me and Marius, we are both in a very similar situation. I think that we both have the same physical device, which has been built by Jaco.
Yes.
From South Africa.
Yeah.
So it's funny that we have the same device. So we both have the physical one, and I guess we both played with your software with Ether one. So the answer would be no. I can't edit.
Very good.
Let me really quickly install the. Doing things from the phone is just so annoying.
You prefer this device? You have maybe some other devices too?
What do you mean?
Do you have, like, for example, the Spooky or another?
No.
Just one. Okay.
Just one. Mario, how about you?
No. Well, I tried to build the Arduino one, but then I didn't continue further on with it. Didn't have the laser.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Lasers.
Shall I? Yeah. Sure. Okay. I see that you're writing. Shall we write something or?
Yes, you can also, if you have a problem to write because of your mobile phone. I forgot that you have that you are only from your mobile phone here. I can write for you maybe.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think I got it. I think so. Yes. Thank you.
This is freaky.
It's what do you mean, the way we are working right now?
Yeah.
You have never worked like this in?
No.
Never?
Yeah, last time I saw this was with Google Wave. If you guys can remember that.
Google Wave?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, what is Google Wave?
I think there's still some videos on Google about it. It was simultaneous collaboration where people could change the document and you can, comment on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got the Hurricane one. I've got the Denbraven one, the bigger one.
The bigger one.
So you got the smaller one.
The Hurricane. No, I think the Hurricane has like 12 knobs. I think the Hurricane is the biggest one, but I may be mistaken. It's just we can look it up later.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. You're right. We got both the Hurricane one. Yeah. I always said
Okay.
it's the Dembraven, but it's also a Hurricane.
Oh, okay. Can device. Okay. Yes. Keeps changing my color, but I'm getting there. I'm sorry, what's the difference between modular or just one big device? Modular means that there are modules which you can connect, right?
Yeah, you begin with just, let's say, just the knobs for the rates, for example, and a small unit, and then you connect it with cables with the well, and then to the broadcast unit, and so on. So you start with what you right now most you need for your purpose, and then you add more modules with time, like the design of synthesizer.
Okay. Sorry for being slow in writing. Normally,
no problem. If
No.
we are not running.
Ooh, nice questions. We've got here pure analog.
You find it time consuming to design in Blender, is it?
No, it's very fast, Blender.
Once you get familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
It took me a while. I'm not doing it on a daily basis, but I like the program. I like how, but it has a learning curve for sure.
I began 1986 with my campaign at home promoting computers. I tried to to convince my parents to buy me a computer because I wanted to paint with the computer at that time, 1986, in the 80s. So they bought me an Amiga. I was fascinated by this computer, and since then I was using painting and designing software like Blender and so on. Since the beginning of it, I believe with Blender I began 2007.
You're a man of many skills.
Too many. Yeah, it's if you read the post on Gelsemium, it's exactly me. Exactly me. It's a person who I enjoy a lot the creativity, but I also suffer from it.
I hear you.
I'm overtired sometimes, burning out and.
Well, but that's the thing also with, people say that thought doesn't have any impact in your physical reality. The fact that we, as say, for example, programmers, we tend to be tired after staring at a screen for too long. So not like physical work, but with physical work, you would know where your limits are. Your limits are, say, exactly. You can take 50 bricks and then you're tired. But with your thoughts, you can sit for hours playing a game, not knowing how much, concentration got dumped into that game, and then you knock yourself out for days.
Yeah, you get cold hands, which is a sign of overloading your nervous system.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
By the way, I read. Yes, I'm done. Yeah. Just a quick question. It really fascinates me. Will you ever consider? And I hope yes, some basic training in homeopathy and basic training in how do you call it, in symptoms? Because it really fascinates me how you can connect the dots really quickly. Like, for example, cold hands, a symptom of burning out and stuff like that. That's just blows my mind,
I have already, I have written this in the about page of the Patreon. I will teach you essentially everything I know about it. I already wrote an introduction into advanced flower essences, flower essence training, and a beginner guide to homeopathy, an advanced guide to homeopathy, so an advanced training also. And I would love to teach you all what I know, because this is so fascinating. It's homeopathy and radionics both are cousins. You can read that online on Shu History. It's called the page is called Shu History, and history of homeopathic people who contributed to homeopathy. And there are a lot of people from radionics, and she explains how radionics is contributed to homeopathy and how homeopathy contributed to radionics. And they grow up together, like cousins who saw them frequently every month. When you see your cousins from another country sometimes, and you play together and you learn from each other. And so if you understand homeopathy and you understand radionics, you have very powerful tools in your hand. And you know what noetic science is? The science of consciousness.
I'm back. I got this.
Noetic science is the science of consciousness, and maybe you can add to it non-dualism too. And practically radionics and homeopathic is like the praxis of this. You practice the knowledge of what you learned from noetic science. So they talk a lot about it, but we already use it. So this is so interesting to use radionics every day, and research it.
With synchronicity, like IONS is the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which I've also, in a previous conversation with Int, I told him about the book that he's currently reading, about that lady that's linked to Dean Radin, who's now, I think, a professor there for the last 10 years at the IONS Institute, which is now what you just said about noetic science.
Yes.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting, a coincidence, and how the things link up.
Yeah, it was Dean Radin who. So I read his book back then in 1998, and I began to learn programming because I wanted to prove some of his theories, and I wanted to implement this software to transfer or to in a telepathic way, or teleportation of information using the random numbers. But so I began to learn C++ back then for 2 years, and then I got a job in programming. And since then I'm in this field of programming. So just because of this, I began to, just because of Dean Radin's book, I began to program.
That's cool.
Yeah, and also because of homeopathy, because in that year, 1908, also I began to study homeopathy and acupuncture. And I got a burnout, my first burnout.
Yeah.
With 22, it's incredible. Okay.
You're writing about it.
Yeah. I would like to share my screen. Okay, every time it says I need to get Nitro. Okay, but I hope this is this is sufficient.
It's working.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's design first what you requires most. You want to put your intention into the device, right? How would you do this?
Yes.
What would be your first step?
I do it either through input well or through the knobs, the rates.
Very good.
Or using card. But this is nothing new. I'm just sharing what I've learned, from the device I have.
Yes, cards.
Or cold scan. Yeah, but this is knobs, right?
Okay. So if the cards, you would design your own cards, right?
This is, yes. I either use the one I have, but I quite often design my own cards using a template I have, a blank template with lots of signs, and then I just put the pipes in the circular, outline.
Okay.
But we can talk about it later. I just taught myself how to do it. No one told me how to do it, but just by doing my own investigation, I found out how Yako is doing the cards, and then I started.
Yeah, I have my special method too.
Cool.
I can teach you how to do this, but it's really not difficult. It's like like a child play. It's really easy. So, but then there are some other components, internal components. This is an art, so you add an art to it. Yeah, and this, I think this is what makes the difference in the end. But okay, we have one device here, and I would like to concentrate on the most. What is really important for you? Are the knobs for the rates more important for you, or is the well and the input of the cards more interesting for you?
For me, it's the cards. It makes it easier to not be confused. The knobs is how I'm seeing it to be more of an exploratory way. Like taking, for example, our Yaku, he does this with the knobs. He puts his pendulum over the knobs when he's adjusting for the rate.
So yeah, doing the cold scan, right?
Yeah.
I would say for me it would be knobs, cards, and input well in this priority.
Knobs, cards, and input well.
I agree that cards are the easiest method. But the reason why I put knobs in the first place is because they give you this the ability of cold scanning. And after reading your posts, I realized how important it is and how valuable it is, I guess. Just to explain my choice.
Okay. So cold scanning is the first thing. Okay, how many of these knobs would you use?
Very good question. And let me answer with another question. I'm, for obvious reasons, I'm used to use base 44 rates from Jako's book. But I also noticed in your post that you are using a different system. I'm very curious how the system works, because usually rates from Jako's book have 5. Usually, some has 3, some has 4, but most of them has 5 numbers. But this other system you're using from Kelly something. Sorry,
Kelly, yeah.
I noticed that there are only like either 4 digits or like 2 numbers. Is it right?
Yeah. 2 numbers, two
numbers.
100, 0 to 100, or
okay.
I think I could be wrong, but it's like it's a wider range and less knobs. You have 2 banks, also you have 2 banks on a device, and you have also this agriculture device which has a lot more banks and a lot more knobs, but they are used for people too, like it's no problem.
I don't know, any preferences for you?
For me personally, I would say I would not even use rates at all.
Wow. Well, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah,
why?
Because I would, every time cold scan, I would use a book for inspiration. Like I would use a traditional rate book as maybe for scanning. Like I say, okay, I make an example. For example, I have here. I make a list. Homeopathy, Bach, minerals, chemicals, okay, and then I begin to cold scan and say, okay, is my remedy that I search in homeopathy, is it in Bach, is it in minerals, and so on. Okay, then I say, okay, it's in homeopathy. Okay, then I would design a chart like this, and I would say, okay, homeopathy, is it a stage 1 or a stage 2 remedy? And this I need to teach you what it is. It's
yes.
Yeah. For example, if you have a stage 3, it's Lycopodium. Lycopodium, Staphysagria. No, Staphysagria is 4. Sagria, it's Aconitum, and so on. Serious, it's not stage, sorry, it's serious. But it's okay, it's not a problem. So I would cold scan for each one of these,
And this series, because you mentioned that there are so many thousands, like several thousands of homeopathic remedies. So in other words, each series consists of a couple of hundreds or something like that, or
it's like 100, 200, 500, and then you get here 1000, and then the rest of the 6000 remedies are all in the series 5 and 6 and 7. Like, for example, series 7 are the fungi. So you leave the plants and you get into fungi and also animals. So like apis, which is an animal, it's an insect. And
so definitely we will need to, we will need to, I guess, I get the idea because I use something similar, but I guess it would be great to learn from you. How does this work?
Or you use an abstract energy pattern, and you ask the question which energy is blocking, for example, and you begin to cold scan, and by cold scanning you get you don't know what energy it is, it's like it's not like ether 1 pi that you can pinpoint the energy, but you just close your eyes, you begin to rotate the knobs and use the stick or the pendulum, and with time you get something like a sensation. In sensation there is an energy blocking like anger, for example. And inside your mind and your feelings, you continue to ask more questions, like anger from what? And then while you are using the knobs, you use one bank after another. So you have multiple banks, for example, like this. And
sorry for interrupting you, but you said that you wouldn't use knobs at all.
No,
and I got it.
Not knobs. Sorry, I wouldn't use rates for.
Okay.
Because
my bad.
the knobs are really useful.
Okay.
It's not,
got it.
It's not that they are not useful. They are useful.
You said rates, and I mixed it with.
Sorry. Okay, let's, for example, now we have here a few banks. So I begin with this one, okay?
This makes perfect sense.
Okay, I think I make what is blocking the energy. And this one represents, in an abstract way, the energy, this bank. I begin from the top, from the bottom. So if I stay here in front of the device, I begin from right to left, and I ask this question: what is blocking the energy? And then, usually, when I reach the fourth knob, I have already the sensation it's anger. And then I ask here, what is the anger? So I continue to rotate the knobs, and I have here the stick bed. So at some point I understand, this is from emotional. Maybe it was, I don't know, girlfriend, as usual, is the girlfriend. So emotion, and then I can continue and say, okay, it's which chakra? And normally I feel the chakra, and I say, okay, maybe it's the second chakra, insecurity. and maybe it's the heart chakra, the 4th chakra. So okay, then I use this bank for the 2nd chakra, and the 2nd is for the heart chakra. And then then I just know that's Star of Bethlehem. It's called Star of Bethlehem. It's a Bach flower, and this is usually the remedy that's can be used for the first layer, and then afterwards I can continue. So I broadcast this entire setting, and then I repeat my question. I say, is this enough? For example, is this energy broadcast enough? And if I get like just 50%, I repeat the broadcast again. So next time maybe sometimes I make a picture of the knobs, and so I have the numbers, and I can use the numbers. Or I put a card inside my device. I store the configuration in the card, and because of the MK12 has a card system to store the configuration.
Oh, okay. Because the way I have been using knobs recently is, do you use an empty one? If, for example, the first row on the bottom, you mentioned that you would, for example, use 4 knobs, and if the 5th knob, meaning the first on the left, would not be used, are you leaving it on 0, empty, or do you continue and use it as a first number of the next rate?
The more knobs, then better. So
yes, but do you leave one empty, or
one row? One row? You mean like the last one, or?
Yes. Well, what I mean is that, for example, I have a rate, and the rate is having 4 numbers. So I use 4 knobs. Okay.
Yeah.
I use 4 knobs, and then I would like to add another rate, either from the book or from the code scanning.
Yes.
Do I start by using the 5th knob, or do I leave it empty? Because
if you use, like, for example, 4 knobs,
yes,
and then I leave that blank. If
you leave that blank.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
So
because
if I don't need more, then I leave it blank. But this is if you use the book. Because when I cold scan, I use usually the entire row for one thing, for one energy pattern. So I don't use just the number, like 2 numbers, like for Kelly, like for example for the liver, and then you leave empty everything. When I want to target the liver, I scan the entire row for the liver. It's like it's more precise, because you get this feeling. You get this feeling that you materialize your intention into a setting of the configuration. So this is a configuration of your intention put into the material world. So the material world is the collective subconsciousness. This is what Carl Jung said. Carl Jung said the physical world is equals the collective subconsciousness. So if you put your rates here, you program the collective subconsciousness.
Okay.
This is what happens.
A quick question to
a
quick question to Mario. Sorry, I keep Marios, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Quick question for you. When you are using your device and you are using the rates from the book, do you like when you finish one when you dial the knobs, do you leave one knob empty between the rates, or you continue where your last rate? So, for example, you use 4 knobs for one rate, and then the next knob would start another rate, or do you use it empty?
The next row. I continue the next row. So I complete the row. I take it row by row.
Oh, row by row. That's interesting, because I start immediately right after the rate ends. The next knob would be the first number from the next rate. But that's interesting.
But
Just
I
wanted.
don't think there's a right or a wrong way.
Okay.
I think it's more in terms of the intention. Like I, for example, say that the main remedy or the main cause will be addressed with the first row. So I choose that as a row, and that's my intention on the first row to say, okay, this is the primary remedy, and then the supportive remedy on the second row, and then on the third row, and so forth.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, sorry, Isra, please continue. I was just curious, but it seems like it doesn't matter if there is a empty knob or there is not. It will work both ways, right?
It's working both way. If you want to hold strict to a rate book, because as a beginner, maybe you want a system that teach you to do a thing in a certain way. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. The thing is, if you, for example, read the manual of the MK12 from Copen Labs, the device I have, it tells you with time you will develop your own system which is better.
Nice.
So they give you a system just to learn from your experience, and with time you begin to feel that a certain way is better than the other. Maybe what I teach you is not adequate for you. Maybe you need your own system. But it's like what I read from many other practitioners and also writers who write blogs and so on. They said cold scanning is the how do you say, the mastery of radionics. If you use cold scan instead of just using the rate books. But I use rate books for analysis. Because
Me too.
how would you else say, maybe with a lot of experience, with time you can just dive into, and maybe you use cold scan with just one knob, and then you already know the entire history of the energetic imbalance, maybe. But a book with rates helps you to identify many different patterns, and maybe also patterns you didn't thought about previously. Like it's like there can be imponderables, also imponderables, and there can be before imponderables comes the no-sodes. This is stuff made from ill things, like cancer, yeah. Like for example, cancer. These are remedies made from tissue of people who got cancer, and they cut it out normally when they are operated, and they use this tissue to make the remedy. Like for example, carcinosinum. You know carcinosinum?
No.
Carcinosinum. This remedy, it's a remedy. It has characteristics of behavior, like for example, they don't react normally as an adult does, but they react like a child. They don't.
Yes.
Yeah, and therefore they get cancer. They get cancer because they don't react in the right manner as they should react. So, but it's just for one type of cancer. It's just for one type, because there are many other types of cancer. Like for example, Steve Jobs died from spleen cancer, and spleen cancer is very aggressive, and he was a very aggressive man. He was not a nice guy, you know. It's like
I heard.
And you can take a look at the movie with very famous movie from his life, when he refused to marry his girlfriend who got pregnant. He moved his hands towards his trousers, and he put his shirt into his trousers. And this is a way of becoming very restricted from his emotions. So his second chakra and his third chakra, they blocked. And later on he developed a lot of anger. But before of this, he was very, very relaxed as a human being, very relaxed. But he got ill at that moment when his girl asked him to marry him because she got pregnant, and he said to her, "This is the worst time you asking me this to do this." So it's you can see, you can use this kind of scanning to see maybe what is involved. You can also use timetables. Like see, okay, when was the problem, and maybe you can then ask someone and say, what happened 1982, for example.
It's interesting. It reminds me of body codes and emotion and codes of emotion codes.
Yeah.
Technique. The same, very, very, very similar method of pretty much pinpointing the time, if it's emotion from this life, or if it's emotion from your lineage or lineage, etc., etc. When did it happen? At what time? What age? Blah blah blah, etc., etc. So yeah.
And
have you played with that app, in the body code app?
Oh yes. I'm not a developer, but I've just I've played around with Unity 3D, and I've made my own app recently, which I will share you a link. And it consists of three modules. One is the frequencies for the zapper. One is the whole list of body codes and emotion codes, and the third is the rates for Radionics. And so you have a search bar, and you can quickly search for example, when let's take an example of the. Sorry, I don't want to hijack the video. So yes, I've been playing with it, and I even made an app that has them. And I find that emotion codes and body codes are one of the easiest and most efficient methods that I have discovered so far.
So now that what Ishiret has actually shared now, I'm beginning to actually draw a parallel. That guy made his own radionics device without thinking about it. He just made it specifically on emotions and on
point.
Body ailment.
Good point.
So that it actually evolved, because not that I'm seeing any limitations with the Ether Pi or with Yaku's device, but for me, it's I've got too many tools at my disposal, where I just want to go into, let's say if I have, for example, an emotion to be diagnosing, I would want ideally in my operation to have least distractions. And that's why I also think in Ed Kelly's the Kelly device with the two knobs, if you are going to dowse, let's say, pathology for the field, the agriculture, you also want to focus on that specifically, and I think that's why he made his device in such a way.
What do you mean?
He made it specific for him to not focus on something else. Have you seen those devices, the Kelly devices, Radionics devices?
Have I seen? No, I haven't. I might. I don't know.
Okay, I'll send you a few images later.
Thanks. Yeah, I will try to limit the amount of questions I have, so I won't distract you, Astrid, from your flow.
Yeah, I just added a few things. It's impossible for me not to think about.
Cool.
Like collective energies, miasma is a great thing in homeopathy, and other people energy. This is energetic vampires, like for example Abrotanum. This I talked with you about Abrotanum once. It's a typical remedy of the energy vampire. The job can be the wrong job, and the area can be poisoned, or ley lines or whatever. And sometimes, very, very rare, but it can happen, is an occult attack. Someone tries to do bad stuff to you. And in my family there was an occult attack from a witch. She was paid, for example, to kill the animals in the farm of my grandparents. And I can tell you this story another time. It's very interesting. Also very interesting what she did afterwards. She asked for forgiveness.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. So sometimes we think, oh, the witches are all bad, but she realized what she did, and yeah, it's really interesting. So we have here this is the way of using a system. Maybe we can one day also design a chart for this kind of analyzing. We can make it together if you want in another meeting. But
sure.
But now let's focus more on the design of the device. And what I try to avoid here is to rebuild the MK12. But it's really a good it's a really good design, because they used it a lot, and people, they know this. That's it just works. So maybe you can help me out a little bit and say, I want something else. For example, do you use the pendulum or the stick bed?
Pendulum.
Both, or? This is, for example,
yeah, pendulum. I use
the pendulum. Pendulum, okay.
So and you? And I think, Marius, I think you use stick pad, right?
Yeah, I use a stick pad. Pendulum doesn't work for me well.
So do you use the stick pad on an extra device, or?
I actually dedicated a part of the machine as a stick pad over the logo.
Oh, this is good. This is a good. This is a real pragmatic way to use a device. It's not wrong. It's okay. I think this is a good way to use the device. Sometimes they don't build it in because they say, you need maybe to pay a little more.
Yeah, like on other machines. And it's quite a lot. It's quite very much a lot more.
Yeah. So let's put, usually the stick pad is below like this. And okay. Extrude a little bit so we understand this is the stick pad. No. Don't get. Okay. So just make another color. Okay. Okay, we have the stick pad, and normally a well is put on this part. Sometimes you can use also this on the side. You don't need to put it on, because you have a workflow from left to right to observe things. Yeah, like reading. Would you like to put this a well here on the left and say, here is what energy comes in and energy comes out? Or
yes, personally, yes.
Personally, okay. It's so I would prefer this too, but the MK12, for example, is different. It's from the other side.
Opposite.
But I get used to it, so it's not a problem. Okay. Then we need to
for modularity, I would have, say, rather output, an input and an output on the device.
Yeah.
But in terms of portability, I would say, that's why they include most of those wells into the machine itself.
Would you rather use a big well or two big ones, for example?
I would say big ones from my perspective.
Yeah. And
because it doesn't matter whether the thing is small in a big well. It's as long as it's side of a dedicated well.
Yeah.
I probably would go for a medium size, but yeah, it's just I guess it all depends on how many other things we want to put on the device, right?
Oh, it's not.
So in one of the other books that I read, the one guy, he put files on a USB stick and then imprinted those files with the remedy. And then when he just transfers the USB stick to, say, another device for copying, he copies the rates of those
on a separate
files.
Yeah,
on a separate device. Which is interesting, because I always thought that you always needed to have some sort of a substance, physical matter, such as like materia, to imprint with energies. And this guy said, you can do it. It's energy.
Yeah.
USB devices still, a USB drive still holds charge.
Yeah. You could connect it to a computer, for example, and store the energy pattern on on the computer, and or you can use USB, the stick. You just use the stick, but they are not cheap. They're not cheap.
Right?
And what you can do is, for example, you can, if you have a few buttons, you can say, like in digital register, you can say, I store on one USB stick. On position 1, I store something, and on position 2, I store something else. So you can use one USB stick for say 100 different programs. This will be not a problem. And the MK12 uses the cards, and I have 1, 2, 3, 9 positions. 9 positions for on one card to, I think, MK12, like 9 programs. But they limit it with the design, because let me just design the card. How many cards would you put in?
We put maximum 10 cards. I have 2 slots. I mean, we both have 2 slots, and I put maximum. But I use paper cards, so I use 5 maximum. But I don't know if it's just my limitation, or I use 5 cards per slot, which gives 10 cards maximum.
5 cards in one slot.
Yes, and there are 2 slots in my machine.
Okay. Okay. There's for example, the MK12 has only the possibility of 2 cards, and that's it. You cannot put 2 cards in one slot.
But they have different cards, right? Their cards are digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they are not digital. This is an analog device.
So it's just the paper cards, right?
Yeah, it's plastic cards, but they have a magnetic cover.
Okay.
On the bottom, like a magnetic cover. I can make a photo of it, or you can also.
I think I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they limit it.
Yeah.
Is that probably a design decision from the creator of the device?
Yes. High probability it was just in design. Okay, now I need to give it a little bit of color in order. Okay.
I really like how you put those guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for. It's now the color is not important right now. It's just for the design. So we understand here are a slot for, and now you can use this part for the switches and the buttons.
Yeah. And so like for example, time, right? It's going to be 1 minute, or
yeah. Also, I wanted to show you something. If you want to use the well for
witness,
the witness for transmitting and signal. I searched Amazon for different frequency generators, and there are types like this, but also I found one like this one. This is interesting.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm also looking at that one. I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, everybody debunks it, but look at the spiral design.
It's with antenna, right? This is the antenna. Am I right?
Yeah. It's an antenna. You could also use this one. It doesn't matter. It's because of the frequency what is required. And for example, if I take this, is there an image? There's not even one. Right from the top. Yeah. Okay, no problem.
So, in other words, are you trying to say that under the witness well, it would be good to have an antenna?
Yes.
Okay.
You need some agitation,
right?
Some agitation of the alloptic energy, and you can achieve this with electricity.
Okay.
It's not about that the electricity is transmitting something, but you move the organ energy with electricity, and you can.
I see.
With this, you have more power in the device, and almost every device that has a switch button has also a frequency generator. So you can.
I also. So these antennas alone. So we may decide later if we want. I saw these triangular or circular antennas, just plates with like this, but without the Arduino part or the LCD part.
Yeah, it's like how to say plate. No.
It's usually like this. When you need it, you don't. You can't find it.
This color. You could theoretically also implement more stuff like this. For example, this is like an organ pyramid, or you can build your own design. And with this, it becomes a lot more stronger, because when you design it yourself, it when the resin is drying, it crystallizes, and this crystallization binds your intention to it. And
okay.
But when you make one, you need really to be focused, and your intention needs to be cleared. And maybe you need to build several of this, and you use each one of this for the next generation of the next pyramid or next organ device, because one clears the other.
Okay, exactly. You need that. We actually, every time that we bought one, it because we use it next to our routers and such and electronic devices, but it actually sometimes get knocked off the table, and then it chips. Still works. Doesn't broken, but what ends up happening is that it's not our energy, so it's not concentrated on it. And I think in one of Reich's students, I think it's the Reich's text, Willem Reich's text, or one of his students said that the energy builds up. It builds up to the it clears the more you do it. If it's about, have you ever read about the Cloudbuster?
Yes.
So it's one of those texts that I read where the guy said, the more you have that is pure, they start frequency acceleration. But if you have one that is, sort of not calibrated, then it starts, pulling it back. And the fascinating thing that I've been recently came across is about tensor rings. If you put a tensor ring around orgonite, then it amplifies it as well. And copper is not actually a metal, it's a crystal.
Yeah, as every metal is a crystal.
Every metal is a crystal.
Essentially, yeah.
I send you the antennas on the Discord chat.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, it's when you bend, it's the moment when you bend the copper that you put your intention inside.
Oh, it's interesting. That's why they make these copper coils for agriculture, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. You need to focus your energy, your intention in the moment you bend the metal.
That's why it's working for some people and for some people don't, because some people just do it mechanically and they just have a lot of doubt about it because they just I'm curious, I wonder if it works, right? So they don't put the intention, but some people just believe in it because they want it to work, right? And when they are doing it, they put the probably subconsciously they put the intention into it. That's interesting. Thanks for
You know this guy? James Randi?
No, I don't know him.
No.
This guy, it's German. Okay, I put English. He's like the Pope of the scientific skeptic community, like the Pope. Yeah. So, and you know, and I need to show another guy. This is so. Not this one. Wolfgang Pauli. You know this one?
No.
Wolfgang Pauli. Okay, and okay. No, it's the other way. It's.
I think we need to make a family tree.
Carl Gustav Jung.
Okay, I know this one.
This one, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I really like him.
Let's make a family tree, okay? I have. We can use affinity for this. This is the best.
Have you used Affinity 1 and then 2?
This is. I have both. Yeah, I have both.
Do you find any difference? Because I only used the first one.
No, you don't need the second one.
Okay.
But I wanted to help them out because they was making such a great job, you know. So
I agree.
Sometimes I do this, but it's very, very, very. I believe this is a good publicity for them. So this guy, he got a lot of synchronicities. Yeah. Whenever he was thinking about something happened in this environment. And this guy, he was brutal, especially in laboratories. Experiments stopped to work, and this guy is the same, but I will call it the anti-synchronicities. It's because he went in a laboratory from what is his name? Jacques Benveniste.
I've been reading about Benveniste,
and also Montagnier. Montagnier. So if you read here, Montagnier, no,
he was the one that came to pretty much validate his findings, right? And then they were like, and they left him, and they were like, no, it's not working, right?
It was
Fuck it.
88. John Maddox.
Ah, yes. Uh-huh.
He called Jacques Benveniste. He called James Randi for observing the experiment, and the experiment of Jacques Benveniste didn't work anymore. Just with him in his vicinity. And unfortunately, this guy is dead, and I have no bad blood against him. I would have rather invited him to prove that in his vicinity, true random number generators would not produce any kind of pattern. This is when he is around, this guy, if either one pi will react to it, but in a bad way, so it will not produce anything that resembles a pattern anymore. And the contrary is to Carl Jung and Wolfgang Pauli. When there would be in the vicinity, something really strange would happen. Maybe the true random number generator would produce Shakespeare or something like this. Because this guy, these two, they have a deep mind working with the collective consciousness a lot. But this one, he was like an inquisitor of the energies. And currently I'm writing a book, a fiction book about people who are able to stop this kind of magical abilities of other people. And it's an idea from mine. It's from a long time I wanted to write a book like this. And yeah, this guy. There are a lot more people who are like Carl Jung.
How do you think they get it right? Do you think it's because of their status in society that people give more belief to them, and that sort of empowers the anti-synchronicity?
Yeah, it's how is it called in magic? And there's a special word for it. When you collect the energy of other people for your purpose. I forgot the word. This is like
leeching, like no.
It's like I forgot the word. It was like you. It's a kind of ceremony, like I really forgot the word. This is a mega something. I don't know, mega something. Yeah, and they are able to collect the energy of our other people and use it for their purpose. So maybe he thinks the paranormal stuff doesn't exist, but he is the most paranormal man I know, because he can stop everything else.
Yeah, indeed. But it's the first thing that hit me is that he must have had such a strong I don't know, force, mind, I don't know, that he actually was able to stop these things from working just by, and his attitude, right? It seems like he truly believed that he's the one that will come and make things not work. Because if he would be open, if he would be natural towards these things, I think this would never happen. But he must have had this attitude that, okay, I will come and I will prove it's not working, or something like that. Don't you think?
Yes, because there are people who are reinforcer, like a parent, like your parents. Maybe you remember as a child, you have drawn something, or you was able to play an instrument, and then you went to your parents and you showed them, Daddy, Mama, look what I can do. And they enable with their energy your abilities to open more up, to be more creative. So they share the energy with you and they encourage you. But there are some parents who are blocking their children, and whenever they tried to do something, when their parents was in the vicinity, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It's brutal, but some parents, they blocked their children's ability, and when they left their home, suddenly their creativity, it opened up. But it's just for this kind of parent who didn't help. I just need to open the door for my dog because he's becoming crazy. Just a second.
The dog is knocking on the door.
Okay. This is a good idea to open the device now. You can continue talking. I just make here some preparations.
Build our own device, as I said. But before I met you guys, I was intimidated. I felt alone, and I felt that even though I want to do it, there's just so much unknown to me that I'm not ready. And the last thing I want to share with you guys is that, because I think it's truly important, I have realized, thanks to being here with you, is that previously I thought that there must be some complexity to the device in order for it to work. But now I feel that it can be fairly simple and it will still work because I'm sorry, it's so hard to share some things which are very the words can describe them, but I think you know what I'm trying to say, is that the device can be very, very simple, but because we are doing it together, and because now we feel like we are I'm sorry, bear with me.
I understand what you mean, because I observed this in many other places, like they asking this question a lot, and still asking this a lot, because I was in Facebook once as Ken Martin, and it was interesting. Many people came and they said, will this rate work? Will this configuration work? They asked other people. And
exactly.
And it's, for me, it was puzzling, because I thought, why do they ask? Why do they ask?
Yes, had the same thing.
Yeah, just do it. But people are not all the same. Emotionally,
yes.
It's not the same. It's not all the same. You know, some people, they need some encouragement for doing something, and maybe other people, they learned a lot from other topics, from other fields. For example, for me, it was like this. I learned from in my youth from people who showed me that you can learn from books, just all by you alone. So I became an autodidact for learning,
detective,
of learning yourself, you know, just because some people, they always need a teacher, always, for everything. They say to you, for learning this, I need to go to this seminar, to this school for learning a specific thing. And I always say, I don't need this, I just need the book. And I read, and I try, and it works. And maybe Morius, you know this from programming, right? That it's almost impossible to be a programmer without being an autodidact also.
You must be self-taught. You must explore information and try. I mean,
yeah,
I can pay $100,000 for the best Google or Facebook developer to tell me how to program, but he's only going to be able to transfer what he knows from his perspective that is not necessarily applied to my perspective and experience. And the interesting thing about the building of these machines, it's not like one is afraid to necessarily build it, but there needs to be some sort of a reason or a validation, and that's the thing where let's say, let's give me an example. Let's say we haven't met to each other, and you go to and you ask him, please help me build a radionics machine. He might help you, we might not help you, but let's say he helps you. He's going to base it on the one that he knows best.
Yes.
But he will only build the machine for you, or give you the exact things to build it, but not infuse the intentions of what like we're going through here. We basically say, okay, well, like the questions that Ishiretas ask, what is it that you want to accomplish with the device? Because that before one builds anything or touches even a program, you have to go and think about what you're doing, because that's where you actually create things, is in the mental plane. It's the things that we have in our, like a computer. It was a thought that was eventually in somebody's mind. Yes, a few people has made it be possible to build that phone or this computer that I'm working on, but ultimately there was a person that envisioned this device that you are now holding in your hand. But the materialization of it, okay, that's obviously now a lot of 3D mechanics that's coming into play. But he didn't just, go to another computer manufacturer and said, okay, well, I want the same MacBook than what you have, and I just want to create a different name on it.
And I think you just nailed it. I was just trying to I just got lost a bit with what I was trying to say, but you nailed it. And a funny story, I will make it quick. Remember when I told you about that I had a little kind of thing? It wasn't the main case. The main case, and now I will refer to what Isert said, is that I just got annoyed by the people who constantly ask for ready cards. I'm on the Telegram group, and it just became a bazaar. It just became a marketplace for people who constantly ask for the cards. And I'm a little bit of both. I like to find, like you guys, I like to be a detective, but I also sometimes like to have a teacher. But in this case, I quickly found out and learned how to make the cards by myself. And one day I just got irritated by all those people, because there was nothing there except people asking for cards. And I was like, listen, by reading all your comments, I'm about to make a workshop and teach you guys how to make your own cards. And a few people was like, oh, that's great, please do, etc., etc., etc. And then I learned. To share it with you. That's all.
I'm getting the feeling that we all three are kind of like always at the edge of development or the new birth of things, in this world. And people who are set in their ways, you are going to piss them off by the mere fact of who you are. I had countless of those experiences in my life where I've only got 15 years of experience and I've learned so much more of the system than what 30-year plus the experience and architects know about the system. And it's just the way that my thirst for knowledge, I want to absorb and think, it needs to make sense to me. I'm not just going to accept that, well, we always done it that way. There must be an easier way. There must be an efficient way. But unfortunately, that also pisses a lot of people off because sometimes they love, like in the case of the programming, they love the long way around, the inefficient way, because that gives meaning to their lives. But I've learned to not, what do you call that? If somebody is angry at you or has got a grudge, it's his responsibility to raise it with you in order to resolve it, not you to him or them.
It's really interesting what you're saying.
On your design, you've put the crystal in a horizontal manner.
Yeah. We can change it. It's no problem.
But it's interesting on the way that I'm just seeing a bit of a symbolic, meaning here. You are sort of like sending the energies out. If the energies was basically, if you turn it away to the well, right?
Yeah.
It's as if the energies will be blocked. So you're giving the thing. You're basically allowing the energies to flow.
Yeah.
By that representation, right? Is that how the Copen system also looks inside?
I've never opened it, I admit.
Uh-huh.
I never opened it because I really don't care a lot about what is inside this device. Because when I touch it, I feel it's okay. It's nothing bad inside, nothing what I would say, okay, I need to open it, I need to check, because I feel like some evil forces or so. So therefore I never touched it. But
it's just strange with these Tensoring guys where, sorry to interject, the Tensoring guy says that some of the people, they stopped using crystals and they started using something else because the crystals couldn't be cleared.
Very good.
With the old machines. And I'm fascinated by that statement because crystals are inherently not difficult to clear. You can hold it in your hand or you can wave your hand over it and clear it.
And
you can shine light in it.
For this reason, you need a second laser or a second LED. And this one is then the UV light, because one is for the doesn't work. So the one is UV light for cancelling out the energy inside the crystal. And the other one is for transmitting the information or the frequency to agitate the energy. And now what I'm designing here is not as a typical design, but it's implementing a crystal with lights, but normally there's a coil. Are you still with me?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it was so there was no noises, so I thought I was alone. So if you normally you have a coil around your crystal or some form of crystal, and older designs have not a crystal but silver plate for recording the energy. And this energy is used to reinforce your intention. So you have in the middle maybe a crystal or some metal, and people now they think the crystal is holding your energy forever. And I read somewhere, I don't know where, that you can set all your knobs on 0, switch your broadcast on, and you clear up your MK12 with this energy, because the MK12 doesn't have a clear button. This was strange for me when I bought, or when Thalia gave me as a gift the MK12. I opened it. I read the manual, and I thought, where's the cancel button? But then I read you just put everything on 0.
Yes.
And then you broadcast with there's one button for 10-second broadcast, which use the frequency generator for reinforcing your broadcast. Because if you broadcast, yeah.
Sorry. Please finish, and I will add something.
Yeah, if you use this small button, somehow it use maybe another frequency to reinforce your broadcast, but you can use it to clear the device. So my intention goes into this act of clearing. It's my intention to clear the device. I put everything on 0. This is my intention. I configure the system for clearing. I click on the button for broadcast, and then I recheck. I say, okay, no energy left, but then I rechecked again, a little bit more deeper. I say, is there a little bit of energy somewhere? A little bit, just a little bit. And then I normally get a little bit of stick. I repeat the clearing, and then it's gone, the energy. And so,
interesting.
But if you want to save time, you build something inside the device that makes the clearing for you. That's like programming. You program the device, and the MK12, for example, is called a Radionics computer, but it's not a computer because there's nothing inside that is a computer. But the functioning, the intention of it, it's like a computer.
So manual. If you are, for example, having sugar balls, and you want to clear them because, for example, you don't know where they came from, where they were, but you just want to make sure that they are clear as possible or clean as possible, you just put them on the output well, and you just put all the knobs on 0 and broadcast it for 1 minute or something like that. So yes, he uses the same technique. And Marios, I think, I may be mistaken, but I think he does not have a crystal. Because you said that he's hiding it somewhere. I think he has some 2 microchips, but I could be wrong, and I think they are used only for timer. Maybe they add some frequency, I don't know. But he's only having this one LED which is blinking during the broadcast. I think I could be wrong that there is no crystal there, but just wanted to add that.
But it is also, one thing about, like, if you guys had the experience of holding a crystal in your hand, right? For most people, it's just a rock. And very few people understands the property of crystals. Why they are special, and they're not just even rocks are crystals, but let's call it the pure quartz crystal. If one actually understands how powerful those ones are. I saw some videos on the internet that they use sound and then they can agitate that the crystal actually starts glowing, like it's on fire, like it becomes luminescent.
Amazing.
With frequency. So it begs the question why the old machines did have crystals in them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to drift away. Do we have time, Isret, or you would like to continue with the explanation?
We have time. We have time. No.
I used to be skeptic about crystals, and then a quick story. When I first went for my first ayahuasca ceremony, between the two first ceremonies, we went to the mountains, and I found a pretty big crystal in the mountains, and I took it with me. What is very interesting is that on the second night, I think, on the second night, where I had a very powerful and difficult experience, I was holding this crystal in my hand, and by just rubbing it, I felt the connection with the reality, which was very important at the time. It was the beginning of the grounding experience. On my second ayahuasca experience, which happened 8 months later, I had the crystal with me. I took it because I felt that it will be very important. And what was beautiful is that each time I was going too high, I put this pretty big crystal on my forehead, and immediately I felt the connection with the earth, and I felt grounded. It was just amazing. Yeah, just a small story.
When I take a crystal in my hand and I hold it against a black a background, I start to see some kind of smoke coming up, and I played around with it a little bit lately, and I noticed that it reacted to my thoughts, but this kind of vision is like it's very weak for me, because I'm not psychic in some form. I cannot see energy. Some people, they are really, really into it, and they can see a lot more. But something is visible, and I think almost everyone is able to see something and also to feel something, but they block normally their vision and their way to perceive the world beyond the material level, because they think this is the right way to behave.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that if you use Dicinian glasses, apparently, you will be able to see that smoke much clearer, whether you believe it or not. But even most people still say that they don't believe it when the evidence is still there. And have you guys ever been exposed to Karelian photography, aura photography?
No.
So it's the corona discharge of any subject. So let's say you take a leaf, and then there's a sort of gas where they photograph it, but they see it like a little electricity over that. And if the leaf is dead or lower in vibration, then it's not as bright. It's not as vibrant anymore.
Or when it's cut, you can still see the rest of the leaf, right?
You can still see it. Yes, correct.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that is fascinating. That's the stuff that I love to watch.
Yeah, they talk about it in the field about it. Also, they talk about a lot of different things, but yeah, it's mentioned there too. Okay, we have some schematics.
some basic schematics. So this is this is not you need some lights and also some electricity, because elliptic energy is agitated by light and electricity and magnetism. So you can add magnets too. And there are books who describes in which way the energy flows normally. So when you put light that comes from here, so from left to right, from one well to the other, just the light is sufficient to transport the energy in this direction.
Light.
Just the light. But if you take an frequency generator and put it on, then you agitate the energy a lot more. And then you can put some magnets under the well too. So you have 3 ways of agitating the energy on the physical level, but the physical level corresponds to the higher level. This is what people say, or what you can read in books when you read in alchemy. They say above is
as above, so below.
Yes, as above, so below. And so this means it's a correspondence. And correspondence is exactly what we are doing in radionics. Also, it's the same thing as in homeopathy, because homeopathy uses just 10% of radionics, of alchemy. Yeah. So the correspondence on the physical level, you can set up your system and transport the energy, and so also your intention from one side to the other. Because what you do normally as an alchemist in a laboratory, you are using raw material, but you add your intention to it, and therefore alchemy doesn't work in a normal chemical laboratory, because people there, they don't come in, day out, and work for a company as an alchemist. Normally, you will never see this, but in radionics, you use intention as your main tool. Okay, then we have.
So, just quickly summarize, if I understood right. So we have 3 ways of agitating the intention or the energy: light, frequency, and magnetism. Right?
Right.
Okay, thanks.
Normally, electricity is also magnetism, because it's called electromagnetism. But you can use magnets, just magnets, which are like static in their behavior. They always works. You can switch this to off, but magnets you cannot switch off. So maybe for the design you need to choose to say, okay, better not use magnets, but just for in case of, if you want to use some special devices, like for example an module for broadcasting, which is only plugged in for certain cases. Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So, in one weird sense, doesn't a microwave then follow in the same principle? Because it uses magnets to kind of agitate that frequency that the microwave tries and concentrates, right?
This is a good thing, a good point. What does a microwave do with your food?
It agitates the composition, of the food.
Yeah.
To heat it up.
But if you put in an egg in a microwave.
Yeah, definitely a chicken is not going to come out.
Okay,
some people do think about that. But
yeah, it will explode, right? It's messy, yeah. and most people attribute to the microwave bad feelings. Most people.
It's amazing. It's amazing that I'm hearing this. I will tell you in a moment why. Please continue.
Because you need to think about it. If you use symbolic elements, the element of the crystal is it is able to store stuff in some way, energy. And the symbolic meaning of, for example, red light it's a warm light, so it's adding energy. And the symbolic meaning of ultraviolet is to erase energy, because we know since the 80s that the ultraviolet light is used for erasing certain electronic components, right? And
I don't know.
Maybe ultraviolet is not bad at all, for example, but we attribute this symbology to it. So you need to take care of what other people think, even if you put it inside your own device, till to a certain point. Not everything, but for a specific. There's a lot of energy that derives from the collective consciousness. And so
for me, sorry to interject there, like I always instinctively knew that a microwave isn't good for us.
Yeah.
Because of its arrangement, that it actually splits apart the molecular structure of whatever you put inside of it. It's
I disagree because the microwave does not split apart for example the atoms.
No, sorry, not the atoms, the
between
the vibration,
between
the magnets,
so
to speak, between the components. So let's say on a molecular level you want to represent something that is a banana and you heat it up. When you take the same heated banana and you look at the molecular composition, doesn't represent a banana anymore, because the atoms have shifted.
But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you? But there's a difference between something being between something not giving us any positive value and something being harmful to us. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because I also was actually, one day I took pendulum and I was like, okay, I want to find out how it is with this microwave, and I started like asking questions if it's bad for me, and it was like no, and I had this feeling like that everyone keep repeating that it's bad, and then I asked if it just does not bring me any value, and then I got the response to yes. That's just my
not bring you value. Is that what you got to?
Yes. It's so in making it simple, the food does not give me a lot, but it's not harmful for me.
Yeah. No, you're not going to get cancer from it. No, that I also believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, it's if you're looking for nutrients, let's say spinach, which is a high vibrational food, right? And now you're heating it up. you're lowering its vibrational value. That's my belief. You're lowering it because you are affecting the atomic structure of it. You're not necessarily making spinach that will suddenly become car oil, but it still looks like spinach. But because the structure, and I've got this belief that the body doesn't recognize it after it's been heated with a microwave. But no, it's not the evil thing like it's going to give you cancer. What people now, they believe because it's a concentrated frequency into a specific place, and now you need to get rid of it in that way. No, our decision which was to get rid of it because of nutrient value, because the overall food supply in South Africa is not great. And either you need to be very wealthy to go and buy organic plants, with no pesticides and such. And then, if you're going to keep on heating your food in that way, it's also some in a belief system of like fast food. Fast food. If you're not, and this is where intention comes in. If you're not intending your food, you're not sort of connecting with your food, then I don't think the body accepts it as well. Whereas when you're cooking it, they always say when you cook with love, the food tastes better.
Oh yes, I can confirm that.
Yeah.
But what I do think what a microwave can do, if one looks at it is sort of like a dimensional shift. It can actually maybe even levitate objects. You can obviously create plasma water. You can plasmatize. You can probably, if one maybe experiments it in that way, if you sort of like what the schematic is, you get a bunch of frequencies, and together with the magnetron, you can push that into the object and actually make it a higher vibrational object. Instead of heating it up.
And what is your opinion, Iseret, on the microwave? Is it similar or completely different?
I would use it to destroy energy.
You would use microwave to destroy energy?
Yeah. For example, there is bad energy in some places, and you want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use stronger energy for this reason, for this purpose. It's like you use fire to destroy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you use a laser. For example, the laser. This could be a red laser here.
Mm-hmm.
Point it to the eye, and you become blind.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or the UV, you get skin cancer. But you use just a little bit just to cancel out the energy here. And it's always the dose and also the purpose. For example, I would never ever use radioactive material inside a radionics device. And maybe you would ask, but who would be so stupid and use it? But people in the past, like Wilhelm Reich, he used radioactive materials for his experiments, and he got a really bad experience with this. He almost killed himself and other people too. So, I would not build a radionic device with a magnetotron inside it. Just for my purpose, I want to balance energies and not destroy stuff. But if you really need this, if in future I would really need this kind of energy, why not? It's not to destroy people, not to destroy to do bad stuff, but if some people have created an egregore, some really big, huge, energetic entity that needs to get destroyed, then I would use microwave.
Hey, you guys remember Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Yeah.
They used the microwave weapon to destroy the ghost.
Oh, this is a
Really?
good example. This is a good example. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's obviously, you know, this goes with the same thing about, you know, hammer can be used to build a house or kill a man.
Yeah.
It's what you use with the intention of the tool. I just firmly believe, obviously, the stuff on the internet, you know, even more so, and it's only going to get worse, is my feeling as well, if one cannot practice discernment, is that, because I myself, if I'm going to be honest, I found myself in polar opposite of a belief. Like, again, not necessarily with the thing about a microwave, you know, cooking your brains out when you just eating up your dinner. But, for example, when you go outside in the sun, you know, the UV rays is going to give you skin cancer. I believed that for a while, until I said to myself, you know, well, then I get skin cancer, but I'm not going to hide away from the sun, because I am actually seeing it quite less often. And there's no evidence that the sun gives you cancer.
Exactly. And also, I think there is evidence that the sun has such a wide spectrum of wavelength that actually that there are wavelengths which cancels or balance the UV frequencies with the red infrared. Actually, apparently, I read about it that some frequencies they balance the ultraviolet frequencies, so it's actually okay.
But the tanning bed, you know, that uses infrared, you know, those tanning salons.
Yes.
I do believe will give you a strong chance of, you know, an anomaly in your cellular structure. That is with chemicals that they usually do, that spraying tanning stuff, that they want to make people obviously brown or a certain shade. And then they utilize that light, you know, which is obviously a high frequency light. And we talked about the LEDs.
I have the pendulum because I do have the infrared sauna in my house, but it's not on the LEDs. I have this glass long bulbs that produce the infrared light, and I think I pendulum them. And indeed, when I was too close, it told me that I'm too close. And then I just lowered the amount of light by one level, and then it showed me that everything is okay. But
yeah, so you get the infrared sauna, and I suppose you've got the one with the normal incandescent bulb, right? It looks like a chicken.
It's like a heater.
Battery.
It's like those
are fine. Those are fine.
Okay.
The ones that I'm talking about is the ones with the gaseous, you know, the tanning salons where they lie in like a sort of a pod.
I think I know what you mean. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like these funny bulbs, long tubes with a gas inside. It's not the same light. I don't think it's a fluorescent light, but yours is. Look, they cannot make a bed out of your light, so they had to use another mechanism. There's people that says, if you guys remember those fluorescent lights that they had in the offices, where they said that they're feeling headaches with those lights because of the mercury. No, nothing stays inside of any object, even if you want to seal it. It always leaches some form of another, and I think that's my belief, where those things, because the skin is an organ, and if you're so close to that, you basically transfer those stuff through, and because it's an unnatural state for your body, you know, you bring your body under stress, and obviously stress is then kicking the immune system, and that then causes a ripple effect. But it's obviously not going to happen with 1 or 2 sessions a month. But you get people who religiously sit in those things every second day.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, so many interesting topics. Do you want to comment on what you're doing, or you want to finish it and then later you will tell us what's going on?
You know, I feel like in a cooking show, you know.
Why? Why?
Because you are talking and I'm cooking. And then you come back to me and ask, what are you cooking? And, can I taste it? It's no problem. It's funny. It's funny.
We should actually focus on
so
what you're doing.
I was thinking the knobs there are it's circuit, so it's you are binding the entire structure in a cycle. And naturally I used here straight lines, but no, you can also design it in a different way. And the frequency generator, it has a power on button, and when you power it on, the flow, it flows through the input to the rates to the crystal, and also inside the output well or the antenna for broadcasting, and the cycle is closed here.
So we could, for example, say that on the bottom of the frequency generator there's a plus, and on the top there's minus.
No, it's frequency is just this up and
just
down.
One.
Up and down. This is the frequency generated. It will be minus and plus, like.
Well, yes, I agree, because I use the frequency generator with just one line, not a plus and minus, and the frequency reaches your body. But I'm just trying to understand how do you like you exit the frequency generator, and then how does the signal comes back to the frequency generator?
So normally you have two connectors here.
Mm-hmm.
One that you call a plus and one that you call a minus, but normally but it's not really like that, because the frequency generator, it makes an sinus wave, for example, and it went up in the plus and in the minus all the time. Normally the energy, it goes back and forth between the wells, like this all the time. Because some people think, but you need to put the energy just in one direction. This is wrong. It's not in one direction. It's both.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's both.
Oh,
ways.
I thought exactly that it's supposed to go in one direction. Okay.
Yes, for the light, you want to put the energy just in one direction because of its symbolic meaning. But if you think about, it's like a conversation. We are talking right now, and we are exchanging energy. And people say, but would that not be against the paradigm of a radionics device, because you want to protect yourself from the energies of other people? But the thing is, the entire device communicates with the target, not you.
Not you, exactly.
So because there needs to be some form of communication between the target and the operator. And this is exactly the frequency generator. It makes it all resonate. But if you click on the power button and you shut it down, the system, and the lights goes out, but you forgot to put your knobs on 0, it will still broadcast, but on a lower level, it will still broadcast. So,
excuse me for asking the same question again. If you could repeat, how like because normal, as you said, the frequency generator has plus and minus. So how do we include the frequency generator in this whole circuit? If I exit the frequency generator, I exit through plus.
I try to search some schematics here. So you have a ground.
Yes. And the output.
And the output. And but the signal goes up and down.
Yes.
Like frequency generator.
I'm familiar with that, but
the energy goes. If here is the ground, the baseline, you will always go to plus and minus, always. And you connect the ground somewhere. For example, this is the ground, and the sinus it will go up and down from energy.
The thing with electricity or anything that moves, it's not moving up and down from one side to another. It's moving backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
If you want to envision that.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I completely agree with you. Okay, so now I get your point. So in other words, it doesn't have to be plus minus. It's just the whole circuit. So frequency generator is just a part of this whole circuit.
Yes.
And be just one line. Let's call it a plus for a moment.
Yeah.
And you just. Yeah, I think I get your point. You just connect the plus to the circuit, and the frequency will just travel through the circuit, right?
Yeah, because if you remember, if you read some of the history of the Dr. Albert Abrams devices, he used not a frequency generator at that time. He just plugged the device into electricity, and usually in America you have 60 hertz, and it does the same as a frequency generator if you put it on 60 hertz. Is that clear, or is it?
Yes, it is clear. Thank you.
Because maybe it's puzzling to some people, because they will say, "Oh, you use direct energy," but he didn't. He used just resistors on the knobs, simple resistors. And maybe he didn't use input and output well as we use today. He used another approach, I believe. And later he used the input well for the blood samples. But it was Ruth Brown who invented then higher the stick plate and other concepts. Yeah. But the frequency generator is very useful for setting. For example, you can use 8 Hertz like normal broadcast, so you sing to the planet. And if you use higher frequencies, you can look up what frequencies the Schumann frequency have. Normally it's always the double of 8, because the 8 Hertz is only the base of it, because it will resonate a lot more. It is multiplied with time. It's because the electricity travels around the Earth 8 times with light speed. Therefore, we have 8 Hertz as a base for Schumann frequency. And also this is syncing to the brainwave, like alpha.
Question: do you guys believe that the Schumann resonance changes, that it vibrates faster, quicker?
It's impossible to change. because the planet's diameter needs to change too. Or
And it does not.
or the light speed needs to change. This is what Rupert Sheldrake wrote in some of his books. He inquired some scientists, asking them the not comfortable
questions, because they kept on changing the speed of light.
They changed the meter length in order to synchronize to what they observed with the light speed. This is really
so it's interesting because we base that on a constant, but there's a Schumann resonance app that I have on my phone, and you can see those spikes. The magnetic spikes. There's some observatory there in Tomsk in Russia that does these stats, nice little graph. But I feel that it does change because, in essence, we are moving into a different part of the universe. Earth and the sun isn't in the same place, so Earth in itself might change, form and manner, and that I feel is, it's not we're using it as constant, but what I want to get to is that the Schumann, there's the, just go one back, sorry. See that's the app, on the left hand side, a blue graph. There's those spikes that somebody keeps on seeing.
This one.
Yeah, there's a page. Yeah, there's a page with
those images. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody looks at those spikes because that number changes, but then it balances again. But then until there's something else, that's also a nice little rabbit hole to go off. But also the Earth is not round; it's elongated, and yes, they think that this is the way, but this is just a representation of a round Earth. But what if Earth isn't really round? I'm not saying Earth is flat. But what if Earth contracts as well, like with the cycles of the moon?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Neap tide and leap tide.
The Earth is not exactly a sphere, and it's wobbling. It's moving. It's like a soft egg. Like a soft egg, yeah. But this will not change. We need to distinguish between, because I'm not anti-scientific, because science has its validity inside the physical realm, and the Schumann resonance is just an observation of this man. He observed that there was a spike of an lightning, and then it travels 8 times around the world, the Earth, and each spike adds some waves to it, so you get a lot of not just 8 hertz, but you get a lot more. And in order that this change, and for example accelerates, like it becomes a lot more, some constants needs to change, like the light speed. But you maybe have observed that time is accelerating. Like
I feel it.
yeah, what we perceive as time is accelerating a lot faster than 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Not just because we are getting older, but also because the time is generated by the collective subconsciousness. It's like it's like you have 2 points, and between these 2 points is something like we can call the eternity. For example, we have one moment in time and another moment in time, and between these moments is eternity. But not just not just the entire eternity. It's like other moments of eternity, because it's like a fractal. So we have normally many of these many of these moments, but with time they went away. So now we have just a little bit of eternity between these moments, and we perceive it as if time is there, but it's empty, like fast food. It's full of calories, but it has no power.
There's no nutritional value.
Yeah,
calories
no,
are not nutritional value.
yeah, no, right, exactly. And so time flows as every day has 24 hours, but it's like you cannot fill up the time with useful things, because it's time is becoming junk.
We also tend to jump from moment to moment quicker.
Yeah.
And I also said to people, because they say, no, I'm just talking, rubbish. I said, okay, well, let's go take a spaceship, go and sit next to the sun. Go in a spaceship and fly next to the sun. Now, the sun moves as well, but does your time still exist? If you are now an astronaut, does time still exist?
Mm-hmm.
It might exist on your clock, but it doesn't exist for you. In space, there is no time. There is no concept of time. You cannot base it on anything other than a computer-generated thing. Astronauts in the space station, they need to keep on reminding themselves, else they induce a sort of psychosis. Because they cannot see whether it's going to be light and dark. We still got this continuity that, okay, another day has passed, now it's dark. Okay, now it's winter, now it's summer, now it's spring. There's some sort of progression that we can feel on Earth. But in space, you cannot feel that.
Right.
It's baseless. And that's where people are started saying, okay, but why? What if time isn't based on gravitational construct? Or it does have a thing of gravitational construct. But what I wanted to ask him, this is a thought experiment. If somebody has said, like with the constant speed of light, if the Schumann resonance is 8 point whatever sequence with those frequency generators, what if, let's say, for the sake of the experiment, that the frequency is actually 9 hertz instead of 8? Now everybody entrains to a lower state by using frequency generation, right? These frequency generators that you've mentioned, right? What do you think is going to be the effect when you base it on a lower frequency than what it's supposed to be? I'm just curious to hear your thoughts about that.
I always use 783, but I cannot explain you why. I mean, I've heard this idea that it is changing. I've seen the website you mentioned, but for some unknown reason to me, I always ignored it, and I always refer to the first one that was discovered, like 783 or was it? Yeah, I think 82 or 83. It doesn't matter.
783. Yes, it was
83. And I always, when I want to relax, I always give myself this frequency. But it's a very interesting question. I don't know that.
Because my way, because for me, radionics is also based on these sort of constant frequencies in nature, one of which is the Schumann resonance for me. I feel closer to the Earth if I focus roughly around this hertz. You can drop your breath to 6.5 hertz in order to entrain with that as well. Very slow breathing. So you're gonna feel like you're gonna pass out, but it's interesting to do. It's just fascinating on a frequency.
This is exactly what happens for grounding. If you want to ground, you need to sync to the energy of the earth, and we always come into this kind of alpha state, which is almost the same frequency, because we sync to the earth. And when we sleep, we go even deeper into the theta.
Yeah.
But it's between back and forth between theta and alpha.
Which I was experimenting with the sleep, and I bought myself I will give you a link on a frequency generator, a really nice one, portable, with really low, like you could go, I don't know, 0.000 hertz, and I pendulum what are my personal frequencies for theta, gamma, and delta. But and I was amplifying this during the sleep, and indeed the sleep has changed. But then I was like, there's no point in doing that, because the natural sleep is, as you said, is a fluctuation between these frequencies, right? So you cannot just like give yourself, like, you can, but it's not really the right way to give yourself a lot of delta or a lot of theta during the whole night, right?
Yeah, you can. If you want to experiment, there's a substance. It's called Hubertzina A. Hubertzina A.
Okay.
It's one of it's essentially made from this kind of plant. It's like a club moss. This plant.
Okay. And what does it do?
And the lycopodium is also made of this, and they contain a lot of phosphor, and phosphor is it's useful for getting lucid dreaming.
Oh.
So this substance push your frequency of your brain while you are sleeping high, and you wake up from dreaming, but you have a connection to the dream. You still are dreaming, like while you are awake. And this is really interesting, because this substance is used against Alzheimer, for example. But if you take it during the day, you will just notice that you maybe get headaches, because it's when you read here, you get slight muscle twitches. In reality, it makes your muscle tense. But the substance is it makes something with your mind. It connects your dream with your wake state. But just if you take the substance shortly before you go to bed, one dose, not more, and then you will get this kind of strange feeling. You wake up and you can even look in the dark. You can even it's like you are still dreaming, but you are awake.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and it's also it's legal. but the problem is, be careful. It can cause migraine. So it's not really safe.
Okay.
Migraine. If you take it for too long, for 3 days in a row, it will cause migraine. Yeah, especially if you are very tense. Okay, so I draw here another button for the clearing. You can imagine you can connect here an LED with the button and a power source. You need a power source of some kind, a battery and a resistor. So what I didn't draw here between the the knobs is a resistor, because the frequency generator has an inner, normally should have an inner resistor in the circuit of the, and you can read it in the schematics of the frequency generator normally. What I would propose is that I buy some of the stuffs. The rates I already have. I have already the crystals and the lasers and the UV lights and so on. But I need a frequency generator, a little one, and then maybe I can make a prototype. And then whatever you want to do then later. For example, if you want to build it out of wood, it's especially good if it's out of wood, because for the grounding, and it contains the energy, it doesn't leak it out. And then you implement drill the holes for each knob, and connect it, the plus with the minus in series, each one. And there are different ways to do it. The book from Peter Radati, he showed that there are some people made it like one row, then the next, and then in parallel, or from left to right, like a snake going up and down, up and down. And it's your preference. And maybe you can test it out. You can use a stick pad or your other machine, your other device, for checking out if it's okay or not. And then put your frequency generator inside, and maybe if you see for example the one of these frequency generator, this one, you don't need the case, because for example you can drill the holes in the exact distance, like here, and then put it through you, and then use these knobs, but you need just one button for the power on, power out somewhere.
Yeah, interesting. And quick question. So in Hurricane device, we have potency knobs and we have energy knob, which makes me think, because somehow I feel like it may be connected. I thought at the very beginning that once we install frequency generator, we just put it on, let's say, 7.83 hertz, and we just leave it, and it will be there always the same frequency. But now I see that you mentioned that we can actually tweak the frequency each time we are going to do the broadcast. And I wonder if the energy could be the energy knob could be something like tweaking the frequency. Just thinking out loud, sorry. But I guess we are doing it to make the broadcast even better, right? We will tune the frequency, which will give the best result.
You mean additionally to the rate knobs, you want to tweak?
This is what I understood, because you said that we could drill the holes in the box, and this frequency is having 3 knobs.
Right. Yeah, you can do this. Yeah. There was an idea with Goran and me. He was thinking.
Who's Goran?
Goran is the guy from Croatia. We met him. I think the first time we went here on Discord.
No, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The musician. Okay.
Yeah, the musician. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got the idea to use a trackball.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Trackball.
That's space.
This is not this one, but one you can build into a device. With
the regular trackball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see one here, but there are transparent, and you could use this with an Arduino inside, but then it's not an traditional device anymore.
Yeah.
It's possible to use it, but it's not traditional. Or the other possibility is to use some kind of metal ball,
instead of frequency generator.
No, one
Also
one that you use
as a stick pad.
Just two of them, and they need to be smooth. And then, for example, you use how do you say craving, eingravieren, engrave. You engrave symbology all around the ball of the metal ball. Best thing to use is copper, a copper metal ball. Yeah.
But what for? Sorry, I got lost a little bit.
Instead of the knobs.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
you would have two of them, and they can be rotated. And this would be some kind of like a trackball, but without an Arduino inside. You use it as a traditional form instead of the knobs. And
but they would still need to be connected like a trackball to some sort of I'm sorry for the background noise. Just a moment.
Jetzt there is one. Wie sagt man dazu? Abnehmer.
What I mean is that the knob is still connected to the circuit, and we would still need to make the ball connected to the circuit, right?
Yes, there's one.
So it's not good. Okay.
There's one possibility, but the design is a little bit more complicated than just drill a hole and put a knob.
Exactly.
You need some connection through one ball with another. You know, like. Like.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like you connect one that rotates, and then this one is connected to some form of wiring, and the wiring is connected to the entire. Yeah, this is another idea to
can still explore it later. Yeah.
And this is more intuitive, because if you would use something like this, well, the entire device would be it would be elongated a little bit, like this. And yeah, and this would mean that your device will be a little bit bigger, and you need more mechanical knowledge and skills in order to build it. Yeah, but it doesn't need to be that big. It can be a little bit smaller too. You know, like gotcha balls.
Geisha balls? No.
Spiel. Boccia.
Okay.
This is a game. Why don't they have? Maybe I need to go to France. Italiano. No.
Gotcha.
Boccia. Ball. Metal. Yeah, like this. Something like this. But you need to add some engravings on it, because else it's not enough. Yeah. and maybe you can maybe you can find some made of copper like this ones. Yeah, these are vintage. Maybe you can use older ones, but I warn you, vintage boccia is they cost a lot of money. But
I think it adds. I think for at least for me as a beginner, it adds a lot of complexity.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah. You could even buy one like this and use then the case for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how do you say how is it said? There's one word, guerrilla radionics.
Guerrilla, how do you spell that?
Guerrilla is it's when people use whatever they have. Guerrilla.
Oh, gorilla.
Guerrilla.
Yeah.
Guerrilla tactics. It's because they use whatever they have at their disposal. And maybe you go to your house and look what could be used for your radionics, and you just take it and you use it.
Okay. So you could make radionics out of your fridge, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So.
Okay. I think for today it's